What's good, YouTube? Back here with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it.
Don't hook up with that person you shouldn't be hooking up with. Dating in your 20s is messy. Now is the time to give into the urges and desires so that later on you're not resenting yourself or somebody else for it.
You make a lot of noises.
I want my
I'm starting to not trust people who don't have at least one trashy, shameful hookup. And I'm not talking about like, oh, you hooked up with your ex. I mean, like, you went through a phase once where you were hooking up with your Uber driver, or, like your best friend's weird cousin who definitely didn't shower. I firmly believe everybody needs this phase in their life to build character development. If you didn't go through it, you were way too normal and I don't trust you.
This era of
Wait, listen to how that sounds. You're way too normal. I don't trust you. That's a crazy sentiment to say to yourself out loud. It's crazy.
no strings attached has ironically left a lot of people emotionally tangled. Somewhere along the line, sleeping with multiple people became a form of empowerment and everybody kind of just went along with it. Hookup culture got dressed up as healing. Meanwhile, people are burnt out emotionally.
First of all, I don't know why people think that sleeping with a whole bunch of people is going to heal you. If anything, that is going to traumatize you more. There's no possible way that you're going to heal more unless you're actually, the only way I can see it is if you're like, if you're actually taking the time out to like heal and self-reflect and doing it. But then you're not going to do both. You're not going to do both because you'll be like, well, if I'm healing and then this is, nah, you're just going to be like, nah. Second of all, like, that shit it affects everybody, but it really affects them more because we don't get as attached to them.
Drained and more alone than ever. But how did we get here? How did we go from wanting real relationships to celebrating situationships? Today, we're gonna break down the rise and fall of hookup culture and how something sold as freedom turned into a cycle of confusion, detachment, and low-key regret. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. You don't just give those away for free. But hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough to where you feel like you could take that next step. Before hookup culture ever became the norm, there was a shift happening right in front of us, and most people didn't even realize it. It started with one simple message that just kept getting louder and louder. Sells.
But in 1959, a psychologist called Peter Sampson came up with the idea of using imagery to promote products, though early attempts were clunky.
Imagine you are inserting your into a woman's. Now associate that thought, if you will, with Best Athlete's foot cream.
The product flew off the shelves and Sampson was a hero.
From music
What? What? First of all, he's not the first person. I know he's not the first person that came up with that joint just because of the fact that this shit has been around since we've been around. But like, saying that to sell foot cream is hilarious.
videos to magazine covers, billboards to literal food commercials. If it didn't show skin, it didn't sell. But the culture didn't just stop at selling sexy. It started entertaining us with it. In the early 2000s and 2010s, expression became a whole production. MTV spring break specials, music videos that were basically softcore with a beat, yeah, that era. The message was clear, loud, and wearing low-rise jeans. If you got it, flaunt it. But over time, that evolved into something way more toxic. If you weren't doing it, you weren't cool. And society only made it sound fun, especially if you were young. We were told that since we're young, we should be free, hook up with whoever we want to.
Things I wish I knew in my 20s. Hook up with everyone. Everyone! Because as you get older, less and less options are available to you.
And honestly, it low-key seems like they were setting us up. It stopped being about owning your body and became.
But like, my thing is like, if you know, like, when you're young is the best time to find somebody, like both genders, for real, because like, you gotta think about it. Let's just say you go ahead, you're a woman and you go through a whole bunch of people in your 20s. You're going to be jaded, you're going to be tainted, you're going to be traumatized throughout the entire experience. It's going to be very hard for you to like find somebody and settle with somebody because not only is your perspective of men jaded, but like your expectations are jaded too. Same thing with men. Like if you spend all your 20s, you know, sleeping through everybody, being a side nigga and all that shit, you're gonna be jaded. Your perspective of women is gonna be jaded. So it's like you're not gonna be able to trust them. And then once you get to a point in your life where it's like, damn, like I really want this, but like in the back of your head, you did and seen so much shit that you can't convince yourself to unsee it. So it's like you jaded, both genders be jaded, and then that's why people have a lack of trust for each other, because everybody's seen everybody do the most foulest shit, and I wouldn't, if I saw you do some foul shit, I wouldn't trust you neither.
It came about constantly proving you were desirable. And social media, it didn't just turn the pressure up. It rewired how we view intimacy altogether. Somewhere along the way, the internet turned everything into a softcore ad for intimacy. Suggestive captions, thirst traps. Y'all, there's this one ad that I've seen on TikTok 2-3 too many times. And I'm not gonna suffer in silence. So obviously, if I seen it, you have to too.
He unwraps all 8 inches. She can't believe how hot it is. Steam begins to circle both of them. It was almost too hot to handle.
Like, why does a sandwich commercial have to be so overly freaked out? Just sell me the sandwich.
I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time in my life I ever seen a Jimmy John's commercial.
Bro, like what's going on? We open our phone and we constantly see content that makes intimacy casual and expected. And it's not just social media either, it's the TV shows. In a lot of these shows, you literally can't go 5 minutes without a hookup scene. And I will forever stand on that hill that those scenes are just unnecessary. And I don't care if you say it adds depth to the plot. Why do I have to watch them twist it up like a soft pretzel just because they made it out the talking stage? Because at this point, I might as well go to www.youknowwhat.com. It's on our TVs. You don't have to hide and look that type of content up online because, baby, it's right there on the TV. Phrases like hot girl summer and flued out glamorize hookup culture. And suddenly, being desired turned into a flex, and getting flown out by strangers was the goal.
Like I never understood that from either perspective, bro. Cause like, bro, you gotta think about it. You're flying someone out that you don't know to have with them, to do the you know what I mean with them. You feel me? To do the you know what I mean with them. But then like, one, there's no guarantee that it happens anyway. Two, this is a complete stranger. You don't know their intentions. You don't know their situation. You don't know anything about them. They could be a murderer for all you know. Like, they could literally come down there, do what they do, and then murder you. And you don't know that. You don't even know these people. Same, vice versa. Like, the person getting flued out. Like, you are taking a whole trip to a place that you don't even know. You don't know the person. You don't know if this person's gonna be like, all right, cool. I got what I came here for. Get the fuck out. Find your way back. Like, you don't even know that. Like, but y'all be so happy. Y'all be so quick to hop on a plane and go somewhere with a complete stranger that you don't know in a place that you don't know. Like, it just baffles me on both ends.
On the surface, hookup culture is dressed up to look like a confident, carefree, fun time. You got your cute 2-piece set, your spend the night bag, and you finna go and see your sneaky link. Social media just makes that look effortless and fun. It's almost like these women are winning with no strings, no feelings, no regrets. Behind the scenes, a lot of people, particularly women, are walking away from these situations and feeling completely drained.
It's sometimes just the space after the hookup, the emptiness, like you said, but also the slightly tight feeling in your chest, and you're looking at their phone, your phone, their WhatsApp, you know, they're online, they're not texting me back, like, oh, why did I do that?
No one wants to really admit it because there's this pressure to perform detachment. You have
I'll say it, y'all getting used. That's all I'm saying. Y'all getting used by corporate America. Y'all getting used by other women. They promote it. You know it's bad when men aren't promoting something that they want to do. Like, it's like, you gotta think about it. You gotta really think about this shit. Niggas are telling y'all, hey, look, this ain't good for y'all, and our whole purpose is to screw y'all. Like, don't, that's not crazy to y'all. Like niggas be like, yo, like, this ain't good for y'all. Like, it really fuck with y'all long term, this, that, and the fourth. Like, but then y'all like, nah, I won't do what I want. It's insane.
Celebrities a lot of women in our generation look up to, like Meg Thee Stallion, Sexy Red, Young Miami, who openly rap about casual flings, getting what they want from men and moving on with no strings attached like it's nothing. Sure, it's wrapped in luxury, the bags, the trip, the glam, but at its core, it's hookup culture being sold as empowerment. And while it may sound bold on a track, in real life, it's left a lot of girls confused, hurt, and left trying to play a game that was never designed to protect their hearts. Here's the part nobody likes to talk about. Because even when you think you've mastered the art of detachment, your body clocks out, but your spirit may not get the memo. Now look, I'm not saying every link up can create a lifetime bond, but some of y'all are out here feeling heavy and burdened, and you don't know why. That's when soul ties come into play.
In this shit, I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe in this shit. I feel like I don't believe in this shit. The only people that believe in this shit feel this way. I don't believe in this shit.
A soul tie is basically that invisible little string that connects you to somebody you got physically close to.
Bro, I know for a fact when like a wave of emotions just hit me out of nowhere, bro, I know that shit is not mine. I know that shit is not my emotion. That shit is his emotions. That's not. I was doing just fine. I was doing just fine. All of a sudden, I'm crying. For what?
It's like your spirit and theirs brushed up against each other, but didn't fully let go when y'all did. And no, it doesn't mean you're obsessed or crazy. It just means your body and soul felt something that your mind tried to downplay. So even after it's all over, your spirit might feel a little attached.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't believe in that shit. I have never in no point in time felt like that. If I'm feeling any type of emotion, it's not linked to nobody but myself. I don't know what these people are.
Confused and off because a part of that person is still lingering in your space. Look, I'm not trying to have a preach at you moment, but let's be real. It's not natural for our bodies to feel deeply tied to multiple people. We weren't built to keep forming these emotional bonds, breaking them off, and then doing it all over again like it's nothing. Your spirit gets stretched, your emotions get tired, and then you start carrying pieces of people you never really healed from. We're not even finna get into how deep this can get. But I'm telling you, it can get very deep. But instead of slowing down and saying, wait, what are we? We just keep doing it. Because that's what dating has turned into. A whole lot of interacting with zero intention.
What really needs to change about dating in 2024 is people that know that they don't want to be in a relationship and still going on dates. And you going on dates and you...
Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you. OG, young man, old gangs. Like, nah, I'm be honest with you though, man. Like that's not a 2024 problem. That problem has always been. Because you're always gonna have people who don't want to be in relationships that want to date and do all this extra shit. Which to each his own. As long as you know what I'm saying, you tell people up front, like, hey, look, this is what it is. I don't want to be in a relationship. This blase. Like, cool. But like, that's not a 2024 problem. That shit happens that shit's been happening for years. Before 2020, all that shit. Like, it's just been happening for years. That's why they always say, like, the good people gotta find the good people and the bad people gotta stick with the bad people. But it just don't work like that.
No, you don't want to be in a relationship and you're not letting them know. That's kind of fucked up.
No titles, no timelines, no clarity. Just vibes and cross fingers. Weird.
Now, I will say, niggas do that shit a lot. Niggas do that shit a lot. But, you know, I can't even, sometimes I can't even blame niggas for real, because... You know, the woman gotta apply that pressure for us. She's like, look, we not doing X, Y, and Z until you make me a girlfriend or some shit, or wife, whatever. So you gotta apply pressure.
Just vibing became the go-to for never having to define anything. Because if we don't define it, nobody has to be held accountable for what happens. Y'all talk every day, hang out like a couple, hook up, but somehow y'all still don't know what this is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not just saying that you should jump into a relationship, but there's a thin line between going slow in a relationship and being in a 9-month talking stage where you're playing house but can't commit.
I will say this, the situationship stuff, like, that's only a thing because people are just scared to be very vulnerable with people. That's all it is. People are scared to be emotionally vulnerable with people. How about that?
Girl, that's not slow. That's stalled. We should be climbing up a ladder. We're right here. It mimics intimacy, but you're still in that gray area because here comes the quirks of being in one of those not a relationships. The ghosting, the dry replies, the I've been busy text. You're treated like the main chick behind closed doors, but you're a shunned secret in public. Ghosting has become so normal that people don't even feel bad about disappearing anymore.
I ain't gonna lie, just because I ghost you or stop talking to you doesn't mean I got somebody else on with somebody else. I got issues. I lose interest fast. Like, over small shit, just be that. Like, some of y'all get—
I ain't gonna lie. That's relatable. that's relatable. I ain't gonna lie, that's relatable. I ain't gonna lie to you. But then, like, sometimes though, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes like you could try to explain that shit to somebody and then like it'd be a whole bunch of back and forth. And you just like, I ain't got time.
Get way too dramatic whenever y'all get ghosted. Like, it's not that serious. Like, whenever I get ghosted, the most out of character I ever get is just simply falling off the face of the earth and going distant from my family and loved ones and staring at myself in the mirror for 45 minutes a day, asking myself, why am I so unlovable? But you best believe though, in 6 months, I'ma bounce back, baby.
Just fine with wasting time, energy, and those things that come in those little foil wrappers. If you know, you know. Another term that TikTok has introduced me to is breadcrumbing. And yes, it's very toxic.
Think of it like this. Have you ever fed birds, pigeons, or ducks at a pond? What do when you feed them? You don't give them the entire loaf of bread. You give them breadcrumbs. And what is the result of you giving them breadcrumbs? They continuously come back for more because you're breadcrumbing them. You're not giving them the entire loaf because you know that if you were to give them the entire loaf, they wouldn't come back for more. Now, what happens when you start pulling away and you walk away from the ducks, the birds, or the pigeons? They start coming after you.
A little heart emoji here, a what you doing text at midnight there. But when it comes to real consistency, crickets. And the worst part is it feels like effort. So you end up staying, waiting, convincing yourself that this is something, but spoiler alert, it isn't. It's just enough to keep you from walking away.
So today I swiped up on one of my little shawty's Instagram stories, right? And I said something along the lines of like, you fine as hell, are you so handsome? Now, mind y'all, this is the same little I've been trying to link up with me for like at least over a year, right? But we've never linked up. And we're never gonna link up. You see, one thing I like to do with all my little is boost their egos up every like 1 or 2 weeks, you know, just to keep them interested. I don't want y'all, but you don't need to be nowhere else either.
And that, my
Yeah, that wouldn't work on me, shorty. I don't even answer DMs. I don't answer messages. Now, I'm gonna look at it and keep it pushing.
Is manipulation at its finest. But we can't ignore the space that made all of these things possible. It's the dating apps. You know those apps that promote themselves to be filled with love and relationships of willing participants, but somehow feel more like swipe through hookup catalogs with commitment issues. The rise of dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge completely shifted how people date today. What used to take effort now only takes a swipe. And from there, people had access to hundreds of people just at their fingertips. And while some people find real love on these dating apps, hello, I met my husband. I promise you, it can happen, okay? It's possible. But a lot of people on these apps only find hookup after hookup, even if that's not what they're searching for.
I'm so weird. I had this fantasy in my head that dating apps, you know, were for people looking for like a relationship or something. The amount of times I've been like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they're just like, well, then why were you on this dating app? Stupid me, I wanted a boyfriend. Isn't that so dumb?
The whole culture shifted from who's the right person for me to who's available for me right now. So when you're constantly swiping, constantly meeting people who treat connection like it's disposable, you start feeling like you're the problem for wanting something real. Now, just asking what are we is a full-blown risk. You don't want to seem clingy, you don't want to seem like you're doing too much. So instead of speaking, you just go with the flow, even if the flow is delusional and emotionally unavailable.
If you don't know what type of situationship you're in, keep it that way.
I always used to want to ask them, are we in a talking stage? What is going on? Are we just friends? See, that's where you go out wrong.
You're not doing too much for wanting commitment, consistency, and emotional safety. Just because hookup culture is loud, that doesn't mean it's right for you. There's nothing embarrassing about knowing what you want and refusing to shrink it down for someone who doesn't get it. Because honestly, wanting to be taken seriously is not clingy, it's clarity, which you absolutely deserve. This culture sometimes treats feelings like they're the enemy, but healing only happens when you actually feel. And you were never meant to be emotionally unavailable just to survive modern dating. It never gave that. But whew, child, I heard it's rough out there. So if you're sitting here wondering why all of this freedom is starting to feel more draining than fun, you're not crazy. You're just getting it. So bestie, I'ma just speak some life into you right now, okay? You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to stop settling for the bare minimum. And you're definitely allowed to walk away from anything that makes you feel half chosen, half loved, and half healed. So now let's talk about it in the comments below. Do you think hookup culture has gotten out of control? Have we taken this do what you want energy a little too far? Or is this just what dating is now?
Alright, I ain't gonna watch this video, but my take on it though, for real, is just like, yo, like, women decided they wanted to do what men be doing, the select few men be doing, and now there's consequences to it. There's always been consequences to being promiscuous or hooking up a lot. There's always been consequences to it, but like, it don't affect us emotionally as much as it affects y'all. But like I said, there's definitely consequences for us, because you get the wrong girl, you know what I'm saying? Now you got 18 years of hell. So I mean, it's each group has problems. They're just different problems. But like, nah, the problem with hookup culture though is the fact that like women are like massively promoting it, but it's affecting them the most, because most men can't really participate in hookup culture. Like, most men are not qualified for it, essentially, as far as women's standards go. So it's like you're not really hurting nobody but the majority of women and a select few of men. Other than that, it's just like, well, everybody else is just there. But it was a good video. She definitely hit some good points.
To Morocco, I got pretty women showing titties like I'm Flocko. I came in a hard top, I'm still in the drop.